I wonder if you could help me.
No.
I don't want to be left alone.
Maybe I should just fire him right now.
From the west coast of America,
Monday through Friday nights,
expanding his dynamic range,
digging deep into the minds of today's hottest celebrities.
showing listeners the moral and social path.
It's called simply
The David Lawrence Show. And now, David.
We are live from E3. And, when you have, 50, 60,000 people standing outside?
50,000 people.
A crush of glass screaming, "Let me in." It becomes just a little disconcerting. We are broadcasting live from E3 at the LA Convention Center in Los Angeles. And we're here with IGN GameSpy. It's the LiveWire special. And we'll be doing this for the next 3 days, live on the show. We're very excited about this. We've got a ton of guests. Fargo's been on a ton of times. Spiff's been on a ton of times. And we're going to get a bunch of people from both IGN and GameSpy. Real quick, tell people about the merger that happened.
The merger, yeah. IGN and GameSpy, we teamed up. Saw a lot of ways we could work together there. I mean, both have huge editorial properties,
right.
and we'll keep both editorial properties. You'll have GameSpy, you'll have IGN, and also, we have our software, our file downloads. I mean, they just fit together really well. We could really work together and bring some great stuff to gamers.
It was a merger of giants.
Merger of giants into one gigantic giant.
There you go. Coming up on the show, Rob Pardo of Blizzard Software, Raph Koster of Sony Online. We're going to have the team behind Galactic Conquest, all coming up this hour. And all evening long, all day long, if you're listening to it live in the GameSpy arcade. And what is the name of the space on IGN? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the actual. Is it all in arcade?
Yep.
Spiff?
Yeah, the actual live chat part's all taking place in GameSpy Arcade. So if people actually want to ask questions live while the thing's going on, they need to log into GameSpy Arcade, which you can download from GameSpyArcade.com.
I'm trying to be sensitive to the needs of our new partners.
So the folks at IGN can actually be watching the video stream through IGN Insider.
Insider, okay, there you go.
So if they just go to IGN.com, they can look for the LiveWire links. There should be a big graphic on the front page, or they can go to the Insider channel. There should be news about that there as well.
Okay.
Also, just a quick scheduling update. I think we're going to flip-flop Rob Pardo and Raph.
Well, let's get Raph up here.
So we're going to get Raph up here in just a second.
Sure, sounds good.
And start with the question.
Before we get to Raph, we had talked briefly in the pre-show about the big announcements from Microsoft,
That's right.
Sony, and Nintendo. Real quick 30-second summary of what's going on.
30-second. I mean, this year the big hardware battle is for what goes into your pocket. Sony has coming out with the PSP, the PlayStation Pocket. Nintendo has the Nintendo Dual Screen, the Nintendo DS. They're both similar products, but they come at it from a very, very different angle. We're gonna really see what happens with that. Microsoft is really promoting their software. They're promoting their Xbox Live service, which is one of the most comprehensive online gaming services available for a console. And a great lineup of games from Microsoft. So it's a pretty big show.
The promise of massive multiplayer games.
Quite possibly.
Where everything is headed, yes? I mean, there are it sort of changes the way you interact with games, because there is the solitary game player that just sort of wants to play, solitaire or Monopoly or whatever, but then there's
even not necessarily massively multiplayer, just being online, even if you get together with small groups, even if you play a racing game with other players online, if you play a fighting game, there'll actually be fighting games online this year. Dead or Alive, the Ultimate Dead or Alive will be online, so you'll be able to play a fighting game against other people. You'll be able to smack talk them with your headset. It'll be
what kind
tremendous.
of lag time are you going to get with that?
I'm really curious about that. You can only do it really with the Xbox because it's broadband only, and any bit of lag with a fighting game is going to really throw it off. So I don't know how they're going to do it. That's why no one has done it yet. But the first person that figures it out, it's going to be giant. So they're going to try it, and we're going to see, and we're going to find out.
Spiff, can you talk a little bit about the ladders that people can create online?
Yes, the ladders are GameSpy Arena, and we're currently in closed beta on that right now. You can go check that out at GameSpyArena.com.
Closed beta is so exclusionary.
It is.
It's so upper echelon.
But there's
so classist.
There's a reason for that, though.
Yes,
and that's because you want to limit the size of your testing group when something's in an early phase. When you still have bugs in the system that you're trying to work out, you don't want everybody in the world coming there hammering on the system and making small problems into big problems. So,
Our software has no bugs, just as a matter of record.
It's not a bug, it's a feature.
That's right. Undocumented features
This is what
abound.
our engineers keep telling me.
People keep taking advantage of those bugs, too.
Yes.
Yeah. This portion of the show brought to you by Rackspace Managed Hosting. Let Rackspace take care of installing, maintaining, and managing your backups. Their flexible, robust, fully managed backup solutions can help you prevent unrecoverable data loss. And, of course, if you've ever had your data unrecoverably lost, you know how painful that can be. It's all at Rackspace Managed Hosting. Call them at 1-800-961-2888 or visit them at rackspace.com. And for those of you that are in the chat and are trying to figure out why we're doing all these other elements and all these other things, is because we're actually recording this for broadcast on real radio stations, on the satellites, and so on. So we are interested in making sure that that's all squared away. We good to go?
We're not going to flip-flop
Rob here to have Rob Pardo.
Rob Pardo's with us. This is terrific from Blizzard Software. Just put those headphones on right there, Mr. Man, and you're good to go. And if it's too loud, we will try our best to adjust it for you. How's that?
I think it's okay.
Is that good?
Yeah.
How's the show going for you so far? We're going to ask everybody that question.
Well, for me, it hasn't really started yet. This first thing I'm doing at the show. So.
Really?
Yeah.
So you haven't had a chance to get the flavor of what's going on here in L.A.? You didn't get to the Lakers game last night?
I wish. No.
Yeah.
Well, Blizzard's actually in Orange County, so.
Oh, so you just drove up.
That's right.
How was the 5?
It was okay.
It was
wasn't that bad. It doesn't get bad till you take the exit, and then it's just congestion.
Then you forget about it, yeah.
But the freeway wasn't too bad on the way out.
Awesome. When you got on the floor here and you saw what had already started, do you start to get anxious when you get on the floor?
I don't know if anxious is the right word. It's more like trying to remember, wow, it's really this loud.
Yeah.
It's like I've been to every E3 now, and it's always surprising how many people and how loud it is. And we were just talking about this on the way over. It's like, is it getting louder and busier, or do we just forget?
Well, and also we're all getting older, so.
Just to be fair, the Blizzard booth is one of the loudest. I mean, the Warcraft music just blasts.
They actually come around here with a sound meter.
Really?
And they make you sign off. When we were setting up yesterday, there was a woman standing there with a decibel meter, and she's going, that's 90. That's the limit. Yeah. So. Anyway, I guess you guys turned it down over at your booth and then turn it back up once the show starts?
I don't know. I didn't even know they actually come by and do that. I was under the impression that it's just a total Cold War with
exactly,
noise.
with your neighbors.
you know what happens. Here she comes. Turn it down.
Exactly. Talk about World of Warcraft. Everybody's looking forward to this.
So with World of Warcraft, I mean, there's already been a ton of press, obviously, on it. The main messages we always try to talk about with World of Warcraft is how accessible we're trying to make it. Mm-hmm. It's very quest-driven. So we try really hard from the moment that someone plays the game that they don't really need to be a veteran Morg player. They don't need to know the lingo. They don't need to know how things work. We're going to teach them all of that.
And the interface looks very, very much like a single-player game. It's really streamlined. Yeah.
And when you first start playing it, you can play it a lot like a single-player game. We try to make character creation pretty easy, get you right into the game. And when you get right into the game, we kind of lifted some of the Diablo motif with the exclamation points over non-player character heads. And you start right next to somebody that has something to give you and something to say. And you're right into the game. You go and right-click on them, which is another kind of very subtle innovation, but something that, just seems like, again, when you go into a lot of common morgs, you have to pull out the reference card, figure out, okay, how do I move? How do I interact? What, do I have to do slash commands, whatever? World of Warcraft, we really try to make it as intuitive as we can. You go into the game, there's a guy next to you that's got a little exclamation point above him, so you go, hey, what's that? You just right-click on him, and suddenly it pops up what he has to say and gives you buttons and says, hey, do you want to accept this quest? And it'll kind of tell you what to do, and you're off and running.
Let's take a break. We're going to come back and talk more with Rob Pardo on World of Warcraft and so much more. The name of the show is The David Lawrence Show. This portion of the show brought to you by Mac OS X Unwired, the new book by Tom Negrino and Dory Smith, a complete guide to wireless information for Mac users. If you're thinking of going wireless as a connection to the net, go to macOS10unwired.com. Back in a moment with The David Lawrence Show.
Hi, Jim. Over here. Say, I heard your earnings report. Congratulations.
Thanks. It's been a great year. You did pretty well yourself.
We did some things right, but I'm afraid we're too conservative and waiting to expand. Imagine the market share we'll lose waiting to build.
Have you called the general?
The General.
General Steel Corporation, one of the best-known names of pre-engineered steel buildings. Look, you don't need to complicate this, and you sure can't afford to lose time in this economy. Call this number, 1-877-98-STEEL. How do you think we did so well this year? I called General Steel, told them what we needed, and we had buildings delivered to 3 locations around the country. And our buildings were engineered for our needs and to meet the requirements of each area. Best part was when I compared the General structure to similar conventional construction, I saved up to half the cost, and it went up at about half the time. Save up to half the cost and half the time with a building from General Steel. Buy a 60 by 120 for under $45,000 or a 100 by 150 for under $100,000. If you need space, you need the General. Call 1-877-98-STEEL today.
It's that time of year again, pollen season. Did you know there is a way to eliminate airborne substances like pollen, bacteria, and fungi, as well as mold and mildew in your home or office? Eliminate pet dander, tobacco smoke, cooking odors, and dust. Now you can do it all with 4Air Fix, the nation's #1 air purification system company. Now you can enjoy peace of mind knowing that you and your family are breathing healthier, cleaner air. Plus, you'll enjoy a fresh, clean thunderstorm air smell throughout your entire home. The fresh air from 4Air Fix is designed to treat all of the rooms in your house up to 3,000 square feet. No filters to buy, no collector rods to clean. The 4Air Fix unit is about the size of a small stereo speaker and costs only pennies a day to operate. Call 4Air Fix and put fresh air in your home today absolutely risk-free with our 100% money-back guarantee. Call 1-877-4-AIR-FIX. And just for the pollen season, you'll receive free shipping. Give your family fresh, clean, pure air this spring. Call 1-877-4-AIR-FIX now. That's 1-877-4-AIR-FIX. And start breathing fresh air.
The night you sat down to pay your bills this month, did you lose sleep? Are you constantly confronted with late notices and collections calls? Is the pressure causing stress at home and at work? The solution is not a second mortgage or a consolidation loan. That only puts your home, your most valuable asset, at risk. Now there's a better way to get out of debt. Trinity Debt Management. Trinity is a non-profit organization that will work directly with your creditors to reduce and even eliminate interest and late fees while combining your bills into one lower monthly payment without putting your home at risk.
Hi, this is Gary Vosik, president of Trinity. To meet one of our counselors and to find out how to get your free copy of my book, Money Management Made Easy, call 1-800-475-9135.
Trinity. Don't lose another night's sleep. Call 1-800-475-9135 or visit trinitycredit.org.
Are you losing your hair? Is that bald spot getting bigger? Is your hair looking thinner? Why aren't you using Avacor, the hair growth treatment that has helped thousands of people just like you regrow their hair?
I am 39 years old. I've been slowly balding over the last 10 years. Thanks to Avacor, my hair is coming back, and I couldn't be more excited.
The best product that I've tried.
Avacor is the product of the 21st century.
If you're losing your hair and haven't tried Avacor yet, how about a free month supply? We're giving away a free month of Avacor with all of today's orders. Avacor is proven to successfully stop hair loss and regrow hair.
Call 800-407-0018 for your risk-free trial of Avacor. Call now, 800-407-0018. That's 800-407-0018. And remember, all of today's orders will receive an additional month's supply of Avacor absolutely free. Call 800-407-0018.
Gold and silver prices are up over 50% in the last 2 years. Right now, Merit Financial, the metals experts, are offering you a free report called The Coming Boom in Gold for 2004. Call now, 866-787-3465. That's 866-PURE-GOLD. Best of all, Merit's prices are often 10% less than the competition for the exact same gold. Before you make a gold purchase, call Merit and compare. 866-787-3465. That's 866-PURE-GOLD. Do it now.
Drug-related. Come on, would you give me a break?
From the LA Convention Center on the west coast of America.
Electronics Entertainment Expo.
It's the GameSpy LiveWire.
GameSpy LiveWire.
21 minutes past the hour. Thanks for tuning in. It's the IGN GameSpy LiveWire on the David Lawrence Show. My name is David Lawrence, and there you can see how that kind of works out. You know, Spiff is in the chat room. Fargo had to get to a very, very important meeting.
Is it the bunnies?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on over at the Playboy booth. Something's going on. Something. I don't know. He had to go. He basically said, deal with Rob.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, fine. So Rob Pardo is with us from Blizzard. World of Warcraft is what we're talking about. We have some questions in the chat. I know you're in the middle of explaining what happens in the interface. You want to finish that up real quick, and then we'll get some chat questions. There was a man with an exclamation point when we last left this
right.
ordeal.
Yeah, I was just mentioning how we really want to get people into the game as soon as possible and playing and having fun without having to worry about manuals or being online and figure out what a morgue's all about.
Mm-hmm.
So when you first come on and you get your first quest from the moment you get loaded into the game, and he tells you kind of where to go, and we really try to make the first couple quests easy and make them harder and harder, and it feels very single-player-like. And as you kind of go through the quest chains, you start seeing all kinds of other players doing it, and you're introduced to the whole concept of this massively multiplayer community.
Right.
But we try to package it in a way so that it's really accessible and easy to start getting introduced to that.
In the chat?
Yeah, Online Scion wants to know if you can tell us what's in store a little bit for the player versus player aspect of the game.
Sure, we're designing the PvP combat right now. We're going to have multiple solutions to how PvP works in the game. One of the probably the most exciting aspects are going to be our instance PvP zones, which are going to be like battlegrounds. And what you'll do is you'll go to like one of your home cities. For example, Stormwind's the city for the humans, and if you're an Alliance member, you could go to Stormwind, go to the Battle Master, who will be this non-player character with a griffin with plate mail barding on him and the rest, and you'll click on him, pick which battleground you want to go to, and then you'll fly up into kind of the clouds and then fly back down and land in a human fort or an Alliance fort with other player characters, and your goal will be to take over the opposing Horde fort. So it'll be very kind of Battlefield 1942 meets Warcraft 3 sort of a feeling.
Right.
And we want players to have this kind of team structure to the PvP so they can go out jumping catapults, destroy the other guy's town, take over gold mines, really try to get that flavor of the game. And then once you win, you'll get rewards based on, what your side did.
You're in open beta right now, correct?
Yes. Well, we're in closed beta.
Oh, you're in closed beta. Again,
right.
Very elitist. But where do people go to get more information?
They can go to Blizzard.com, and there'll be our World of Warcraft site there where we'll have all the community forums, all kinds of information. We're actually already working on our online strategy guide, so you can see as the development progresses and we put in new things to the game, we develop really cool strategy pages on all the information there. So there's a lot of really good game information.
Any ties with GameSpy? Any previews?
There is a ton of content on World of Warcraft over at GameSpy.com, and I'm sure another ton of content over at IGN.com.
Yeah.
You definitely want to check out some of the Vault sites, and I believe there is a Planet Warcraft on the GameSpy network as well. So
very cool.
Lots of coverage, a lot of fans.
All right, Rob Pardo of Blizzard Software, thanks for being with us. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. We're going to talk more about this during the wrap-up later on today.
Okay.
And if you have any questions, obviously save them for Fargo because he's going to be dealing with it.
Absolutely.
This portion of the show brought to you by the amazing safety laser, the Rescue Laser Flare, visible up to 20 miles away at night, 3 miles during the day. And we go ahead. You can just move.
Yeah, we just
we
need to bring our next guest on.
Hike, dive, sail, and drive with a safety device that can be used in every weather condition. It's even visible underwater. You can go to safetylaser.com and get all the details on that. SAFETYLASER.com. Safetylaser.com. In the chat, we're going to be talking in just a moment with Raph Koster, and in the chat, get ready to ask your Star Wars Galaxies question. We're broadcasting live from E3. My name is David Lawrence. It's the IGN GameSpy LiveWire edition of the David Lawrence Show, and joining us now is Raph Koster. How you doing, man?
Trying to get the headset on.
Yeah, you're doing great.
All right.
Everything's fine. Chief Creative Officer of Sony Online Entertainment. People walk around and grab you and go, "What's up next?"
Well, sometimes.
Do you have people that run interference for you? Do you have people that run interference for you?
I don't have people. I plunge in myself.
You like talking to the people, right?
I try to hang out on the forums a lot. I try to do a lot of talking to people. To my mind, it's an entertainment business, right?
Sure.
We're really trying to find ways to entertain people, keep them happy, and if you just lose touch with what people are interested in, then.
Right. The forum's obviously very active at GameSpy, very active at IGN.
I read them.
Yeah. Okay. So he's hanging out there. What's your slug on the chats? Is it just Raph, or do you have a name?
I usually just post under my own name. If I'm posting over on some of the different forums, like our own, I've got a handle on the Galaxies forums, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Holocron on there.
Holocron. Okay, there you go. If you have questions for Raph Koster, get him into the chat. Tell us about Star Wars Galaxy.
Well, it came out last year, and the response has actually been really phenomenal. We're really happy.
Coming
with
up
how
on
it's
1
gone.
year. It was in June, right?
Yeah, it'll be June. End of June will be 1 year. We've got Jump to Lightspeed coming out. That's the kind of the next product in the line. We're really excited about that. We're
I
getting a
noticed
lot
you
of
have
good
the
response for it.
stormtroopers keeping guard on you over here. Are they with you, or?
I think there's posters for Star Wars Republic Commando right over there. I bet they're with them.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
That's kind of scary. I'm being stalked by stormtroopers.
That's really. I think they're just positioned there. They knew you were coming.
Yeah, maybe.
So you've got Jump to Lightspeed coming up.
We got Jump to Lightspeed coming out. It's Twitch-based space combat. Right off the bat, you can get a ship. You can jump in, take off into space. There's over 15 different ships. There's over 100 different missions. It's Twitch-based space sim. Joystick or gamepad or mouse control. Mm-hmm. And it integrates seamlessly with the ground game. So it's a pretty action-oriented experience. You've got your escort missions, you've got your seek and destroy missions, and so on, right? Space sim style, but you pick up loot, you acquire stuff, you can attach it directly to your ship, and you can take stuff that you can then take back to the ground game and trade with or whatever. There's going to be 4 new professions. Some of them are people who are shipwrights who can make new ships, things like that. So anybody can get kind of the base ship, but after that, you start needing to go to other players to get the cooler stuff.
Very nice.
And
so it's not just playing against, but playing with.
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Nice.
There's an Imperial track, a Rebel track, and of course the neutral track where you don't have to be on either side.
We're talking with Raph Koster with Sony, and when we come back, we're going to go to the chat and get some questions and discuss more on what's going on with Star Wars Galaxies and the whole Star Wars Legion there. It's 28 past the hour. It's the David Lawrence Show, special IGN GameSpy LiveWire edition, broadcasting live from E3, the Electronics Entertainment Expo, at the Los Angeles Convention Center, Los Angeles, California. Back in a moment.
This is the Net Music Countdown. Shortcut.
Hey, this is Paul Doucette from Matchbox 20, and you're listening to the Net Music Countdown with David Lawrence.
She got out of town on a railway, New York bound, took all except my name. Another alien on Broadway. Well, some things in this world you just can't change. Some things you can't see until it gets too late. And baby, when all your love is gone, who will save me from all I'm up against out in this world? And maybe you'll find something that's enough to keep you. But if the bright lights don't receive you, you should turn yourself around and come on home. I got a hole in me now. Yeah, I got a scar I can talk about. She keeps a picture of me in her apartment in the city. But some things in this world, man, they don't make sense. There's some things you don't need until they leave you. Then the things that you miss, you say, baby, when all your love is gone, who will save me from all I'm up against out in this world? And maybe you'll find something that's enough to keep you. But if the bright lights don't receive you, you
Matchbox 20 and Bright Lights. Frontman Rob Thomas is set to receive the Starlight Award from the National Academy of Popular Music Songwriters Hall of Fame. That's a mouthful. It's going to happen June 10th in New York. In the Net Music Countdown news stream this week, in the video gaming world, we just visited that world last week at E3. It's become the rage for games to have their own soundtracks featuring licensed songs and bands. And the PS2 version of the Sony game MLB 2005 is no exception. It was released recently and features some very hot acts. You can currently pick it up both in stores and online.
Coming up, another Net Music Countdown shortcut. Stay tuned.
How nice.
Here's your band's debut record.
Rocks! Rule. Kicks ass. Good song. I think it's cool.
Here's your band's debut record after 63 million people have downloaded it for free. Yo, any questions? Respect the music. A message from Online Tonight with David Lawrence. Respect the music. Don't pirate.
They're cool, they're real.
Can't get no better.
Hi.
Could you tell me where I am? Can you fix my spare tire?
Damn it! Just do it!
From Hollywood.
This is the David Lawrence Show.
Thank you so much for tuning in. It's a special IGN GameSpy LiveWire version of the David Lawrence Show. And if we learn nothing else here at E3 Spiff, we've learned that, yes, in fact, stormtroopers can sit down.
Okay.
Which is kind of neat. I've never seen a stormtrooper actually sit.
That's a good point.
And then we found out that his butt is falling off. So that was making it uncomfortable for him to sit.
Poor Imperial craftsmanship.
You brought your own bodyguard here. This is terrific. Raph Koster is with us from Sony.
I don't know if he's my bodyguard. His gun is pointing at me.
He keeps pointing the gun at you. I don't get this. But thank you for showing up and for your service to the Empire. Okay, there we go. We got Raph with us talking about Star Wars and the entire series. We've got a ton of questions in the chat. We'll get to those in just a second. You were talking about how the Galaxies series sort of developed.
Yeah, we launched the original title near the end of June last year, and over time we've been putting in a lot of additions. So I think highlights last year were when vehicles went in, people immediately started setting up along the pod race course, which in our time period is already destroyed, but they replicated it. Doesn't matter. The players replicated it anyway. They set it up again. They started racing speeder bikes around the course.
Right.
Player cities has been huge. We put in player cities. This allows people to put down their own buildings anywhere on the map that they can. Elect a mayor, kind of set up laws for their cities. There's over 3,000 player cities in Galaxies today.
There's a phrase in the business called emergence, where you're kind of like watching as you're developing the game, and you have plans for the game, but things happen that you had no idea were going to happen. You welcome that?
Absolutely. It's really at the heart of MMO gaming, right? That's what it's about. It's about players expressing themselves. When we put in player cities, we expected to get mayors and some cities that would fight wars. What we didn't expect is for there to be a Miss Galaxies beauty pageant, right? But there was.
Of course.
And the Wookiee won.
Natural gravitation towards sexuality. That's what it's all about. Go to the chat room and see what's going on in the arcade. We're actually streaming video via eBroadcasters in the Insider area, and we've got chat going on. Spiff is handling that along with Todd.
That's right. Techie Crust wants to know if there's going to be any kinds of ships available for players that are non-factioned.
Yes, there are. Players... One thing you all need to know about Jump to Lightspeed is that any player can get a ship quickly and easily. It's not going to be a really badass ship. It's going to be something kind of basic. But any player is able to quickly get a base ship and get out into space. And that means Rebel, Imperial, or neutral players. And there are missions tailored for each of these. There's different tracks for the different factions. So if you start doing the Rebel or Imperial missions, you will start advancing in the ranks on that side. But neutrals do have their own track. They can get a ship and get out there and start blowing stuff up.
Mm-hmm. On both sides, they can. Anybody's fair game for them.
Actually, that is true.
Yeah.
If you're taking smuggling missions, for example, it might be, forgive me, it might be something that's interdicted by the Empire or whatever. And
hey, you got to protect your cargo.
That's right.
That's right. All right, back to the chat.
So Cole wants to know, what are some features planned for players who have maxed out their skill points and their credits?
Well, we've been doing a lot of stuff. We've got this monthly published plan that's been going on, and we've been slowly revamping a lot of some of the systems. So, for example, we've got a major Galactic Civil War update coming up, a big combat revamp where we're going to be going through and adjusting the difficulty on a lot of stuff. I would actually expect to see the high-end difficulty of the game go up quite a bit. So I think that we're going to be seeing that. Combat hopefully will become much more tactical than it has been till now. Mm-hmm. I think we're paying a lot of attention. A lot of our user base is up at that high level. And, at SOE, we've got a long tradition of cranking it up, making it a little tougher.
Absolutely.
So I think we'll see a lot of that.
When you walk the floor here, or when you go to user conferences, or whether you're online and you're sort of just touching the customer, have they come up with stuff that has made you change your ideas whole about the game?
It's pretty common that customers will come up with things that developers didn't think of.
Yeah.
That happens a lot, right? Fact is, the developers are working on it all the time, but rarely do they have as much time to play as the users do,
sure.
Right? So the users often have a very different perspective on what's going on.
Do you have any play rule for the developers? Like they have to spend at least 15 to 20% of their time playing the game?
Actually, we do. We have a rule that all the developers have to play. It's actually Fridays. We call Friday Play Day. Mm-hmm. They have to spend half the day playing on Fridays. And the second half of the day is specifically set aside for stuff that's not on the schedule. It's, okay, anything you saw that really bugged you this morning, right. Go fix it.
Right.
Right? So, yeah, we absolutely try to keep them in the loop that way.
Raph Koster is with us from Sony Online Entertainment. We're talking Star Wars Galaxies. Let's go back to the arcade and see what else we have for questions.
So, Hothead wants to know, will Wookiees be able to wear the Jedi robes in the upcoming revamp?
Actually, I don't know the answer to that question.
Nice.
I don't know the
He's
answer
got a
to
gun
that.
trained on you, and you came up with that?
We stumped the guest.
Nice. All right. It's the IGN GameSpy LiveWire on the David Lawrence Show. Spiff is in the chat. If you want to join the chat, if you're hearing this on the radio, you can do it tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. We'll be here Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. If you're hearing it live on the radio, then this was taped earlier in the day, but you can still jump into the chat, and you can download this from the File Planet as well. Other questions in the chat?
Absolutely. CloudStrife18 wants to know, says that the Empire in